kid. Yeah. Let's talk about some stuff, cool kid. So it was a while back I bought a random lot of silver. And I got a bunch of non-silver coins in it. And it was a random world silver lot. You guys may remember. Anyway, long story short, the prices on the coins were not nice. $2.23 for Canadian 80% dimes, $5.56 for Canadian 80% quarters. On and on it went. And I believe it was like 40 ounces of this stuff at 37 something an ounce. And the topic of today's video was, at that time, that was just above melt. Now, opportunity costs on this lot could be exceptional, considering I could have bought generic rounds for about the same price as what is mostly 80%. This is actually 80%. Canadian silver, which usually does not have any premium whatsoever. So, we already know that had I bought generic rounds, I would have been better off. However, how did I do? Well, at $37 an ounce, I think I would still buy this today at that price point, even though I would likely only get a little bit over that back when I went to sell it, even now, because it makes me feel cool to have, 40 something ounces of silver and a bunch of stuff that, nobody, most of you guys don't have this stuff, like most people. I'm not saying you guys like specifically, but most stackers don't have 42 ounces of generic Canadian silver. So that is pretty cool in and of itself. And not all of it's, some of it's sterling. There's some sterling stuff, like this one. So, it's not all 80%, but it did all cost $37 an ounce. So that wasn't my best day, I can tell you that. But it's a random lot, and I bought from the same seller, and I've come out really good. In one buy, I really came out really good. So I thought I'd roll the dice, and the dice were unkind. But the problem was he had raised the cost of the lots to, I believe he was charging $26 per ounce. Now, the first two lots I bought from the guy were light, right? Light in that they didn't even weigh what they said they weighed. And now keep in mind, he was selling by troy ounces of coin weight, not any particular fineness. So you could get 50% coins, you could get 35% coins, you could get coins, like I said, that weren't even silver, like this stuff, right? So, yeah, very suboptimal when that happens. And but there's a disclaimer on I remember one lot I bought from the guy, there was actually quite a lot of this stuff, but the lot was still good. It was still good to go, because there were some very nice coins, and the silver weight was right, even though there was a lot of coins that weren't silver. But back then he was selling them for $17 an ounce, right? So there was a lot of playroom. But I digress. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all these in a binder, because I got time, and I got you cool kids here to do it with me, so that's fun. But I wanted to talk about, has any silver mistake you made come back to be a silver win in the last since silver started rising, right? So, was there ever a time where you made a boo-boo and you're like, damn, that's silver, you know? I'll give you a for instance. Say you got this is a perfect example. Say you got one of these 67 Canadian dimes, right? You have to assume they're 50% unless they're proof-like. Now, I could do specific gravity and do all that. I'm not doing that. It's not worth my time. But you could do specific gravity, and then you have to convince whoever you're selling it to, right? So, no, you just assume they're 50%. Now, some people do go 65% on these, you know. I don't. I just assume they're 50%. So, say you were buying this assuming it was 80%, right? Well, that would be a mistake. And it's exactly what I'm talking about here. So say you paid, full 80% price in 2014 for a coin, right? You see where I'm going with this? But that same coin, even though you paid too much for it in 2014, would now be well under melt, right? Because price of silver back then was like $18 an ounce. So say you paid... $23, $24 an ounce. You're still doing pretty well. Let's see what the price of silver is right now, just so we know what we're talking about here. Wow, I believe this was 42 ounces of BS, actual silver weight. So we're gonna put it all in a fun binder so that it's cataloged and put away, and it'll be like my 5th or 6th binder of just Canadian junk. I'm not going to get into how much loose Canadian junk I have because it's actually the bulk of the junk I have from Canada. $42.10 is the price of silver right now. Not a bad little price of silver. Oh, I got something else in here that I thought was cool. I just got this one, I don't know, a while back. Yeah. I got this for $150. $150. Turks and Caicos, The Voyage of Discovery. Proposal. 1986. Yeah. This is about 80 grams. No. 4 troy ounces. This is 4 troy ounces. So 4 times 40 is 160, right? So if I got for $149.99, that means that we're under melt already on this. When I bought it, it was just over melt. Close to melt, but just over when I bought this. Wow. See? So there's a good example. If I was buying stuff near melt, this would be a boo-boo. But since I wasn't... Oh, this is 81 ounces of silver. My bad, guys. Yeah, 81 troy ounces. Now, that's not all the coins that were in the lot, but the lot I bought was 81 troy ounces of silver. Yep. But I believe this is like 40 of it here. Yay, we love ounces. Ounces are fun. Here's some non-silver coins, guys. Let me know if you're interested in those, We might make that a thing. Yep. All right. I think one of them's actually got some numismatic value. Not much, but maybe a little. All right, and then we got our Turks and Caicos Islands. So you can imagine my anger when I paid $37 an ounce, which was well over melt. Well, not well over. It was a few bucks, probably $4 over melt. Yeah, $4 over melt when I bought this. And there is a spider on my table. Is that a brown recluse? No. It's a common house spider. Oh, the cat is going to get it now, because cats like to play with things. Are you going to get it, renegades? Yes, it's right there. I can see it. I know your eyes look for motion and mine see more details, but that is where the spider is. If you were to tap, it might come out. Anyway, I digress. We got to talk about delicious silver and silver accessories. I'm going to get the binder. Alright, cool kids. So the truth is I'm getting low on binder pages. I'm going to have to order some more. I just get the old BCW off Amazon. You know, they're not amazing. I've had sturdier ones that I've gotten sent to me when I buy large lots. They'll just send me the whole page. And I do know for a fact that there are better holders than this, but these, for the money, work great. They are the bulk of my binders, which, you know, if I were to actually put all my Canadian coins into flips, Mylar flips, wow, yeah, that would take a week of work, honestly. I really believe that. It'd be a week of work. But I've got whole binders of Canadian coinage, and really, you know, I probably have multiple complete sets of the more modern stuff, especially, say, from George VI to Elizabeth II, as far as silver coins go. There's a nice sterling chunk, 1870 question mark. Yep. That, I mean, it's a fish scale, so, you know, a little tiny coin. Paid $1.25 for it, so that's fine. But, you know, we got lots of old Jorge V's and Elizabeth II's. Oh, and that was Jorge VI. Here's Jorge V. There he is, old Jorge V. And here's some more Jorge. Old Jorge. We like Jorge. He's a cool cat. Another Jorge. All the Jorge. So, yeah, you know, some of these are actually in really good condition, too. It's not all beat up stuff. A lot of the old stuff is. That's how Canadian coins be, guys, you know. Here's a 68. Remember, if you get these, always check them with a magnet. I actually have a very heavy, very large bag of these that I got for about $10 an ounce, actual silver weight. Because, you know, people hate 50% silver. So I will buy at $10 an ounce. I don't care if it's 10% silver, even if it's those Mexican war nickels. That's what I call them. They're the Morales pesos from the 50s and 60s. I call them Mexican war nickels. They have about the same ASW as a freaking war nickel, but they are. So there's our Lynx or Bobcat, a lot of people call it. Yep. Very fun. Very fun. So there's filled up one page, and I'm not even through the first pile here, so I'm not actually going to get this job done today because we've only got a few pages here, but I can sit and yak with you guys, or we can end it here. Can you guys think of anything that you bought that, you know, a boo-boo that got erased by the fact that silver is finally doing what it's supposed to do, which is being a hedge against inflation? By the way, let's talk about the bigger markets. I'm not giving investment advice on any of this stuff, guys, but have you guys noticed, I get a really harsh feeling with the real estate market, with the equities. So the jobs reports haven't been great. Jobs are being lost just like they were under Biden. Inflation's still going. And they're talking about lowering interest rates, which is interesting. You know, you'd want to do the opposite of that. So why are they lowering interest rates? Well, the reason is because servicing our national debt is becoming increasingly difficult, if not impossible, because of the interest being high, right? So, of course, that's going to require, put stress on the federal government as far as more spending, because they like to spend. Spending's their thing. That's their jam. They're like a bunch of crackheads looking for that next fix. Don't you guys love it when you get weird little roll marks and stuff like that on your silver? It's always hot stuff. Yeah. We've got a very interesting dynamic situation. I wish I knew how it was going to go. Here's a Jorge the Sixth again. I don't understand how the markets are reacting to things, and I think, it's kind of like I've always wondered about Bitcoin and stuff like that. Like, why? I always ask myself why. I like to know why things are happening. By the way, if the flip has a check mark on it, it means I put it in Numista. Okay, so that's how I'm keeping track of that. I don't even have a third of my Canadian silver in Numista, and I haven't been keeping track. But last time I checked, which has been months ago, I was $300 per kilo under melt. Yeah, on the silver so far. But silver's gone up quite a bit since I did that check, so who knows where we're at. Again, the problem with this stuff is recognizability. You have to find a buyer. If you run into a silver is silver crowd, you're gonna be great, because this is silver. It's even the 1968 50% coin it's still silver, guys. It's all silver, baby. Your mileage is going to vary. If you're a refiner or a smelter, you're not going to care about this being, what it is. But if you're, trading it for goods and services, if you're near the Canadian border, again, I don't think it's going to matter. If you're up north, like in Maine, they'll take this. They'll know what this is. But if you're down in Arizona, you might want to look into Mexican silver, because you'll have lots of Hispanic, Latinx folks around that'll be like, oh, I know that. That's a Morales peso from 1955, man. I will give you a war nickel for it, whatever. But unless those are your circumstances, and you're just going to try to get as many silver molecules for your money, you can do a lot worse than Canadian junk, guys. A lot worse. Although if I had it all to do over again, I did talk about this in a video, I might have gone with generic routes, but then I can't really say that, because I wouldn't have nearly as many molecules of silver as I do, so like, I'm not even convinced. I'm trying to convince myself that I did it wrong, but I can't, because other than my numismatic purchases, I'm a bit of a stacking purist as far as stacking. I like coins. A lot of people like bars and rounds. I prefer coins. Coins because they're government issue and they have an ASW, just like those other things. But the reason I really like coins is because not everybody's hunting for this stuff. A lot of people, they don't even know this stuff exists. A lot of people, all they stack is bars and rounds. They might know about ASEs and other sovereign, issues, but they don't really know about the Netherlands and Austria, which are two countries I've gotten so much silver under melt, so much silver under melt, entire rolls, guys. People just don't care about that stuff, and that's why it all started for me when silver hit $30 an ounce. $32 an ounce back in 2012. It was after the big run up in 2011, and everybody was buying ASEs. Nobody was buying foreign stuff. They were like, don't do it. I was getting stuff in the 20XX range back then. Anyway, guys, we're out of time. Have an amazing day, And I hope you find all the collectibles of your dreams while you're awake. If you cannot find them, do not blame me. I am trying to show them to you. Bye bye. Like, share, subscribe.